I saw this on PFF. They put this out, and they asked a question. And I was curious because I'll bring it to Lions fans. I'll bring it to you guys. PFF put out, who is the best drafting team in the NFL? Kind of based around the theme of the NFL draft at the end of this month. And it's funny that now we can kind of, pump our shoulders up a little bit and enter these conversations, because this wouldn't even be a conversation about a decade ago. Actually closer, even shorter than that, probably 4 years ago. So where are you guys at with that? Are you ready to go there? Are the Lions the best drafting team in the NFL? Like, because I had to think about this one first.
When are we going to date this back to? Are we going to just set it to like Penei Sewell pretty much? We'll go from that.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, it has to be. First year. Yeah, it has to go back to where Brad.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying for like other teams too. Like if you're going to count, like I was thinking about the Rams and like Cooper Kupp because Les Snead was still there, but that's before.
Well, you can do that for other teams, but for the Lions, you can't. You have to just go back.
Okay. I just didn't know if we were going to set it same time.
Yeah, you can do because that's fair, right? I mean, Les Snead's been there for a while. You should be able to count every draft pick he's made.
Yeah, I mean, they're at least top three. It's really hard to not say they're one and be biased about it, especially what you look over. But I just look back at Les Snead over the years. And I'm going to give him props too. Brad's got like another draft class, in my opinion, to hit. And then I think it's hard to say that, at least in his time that he has been a GM in the NFL, that he has not put out the best draft classes so far. It's just hard. I mean, you think about it. I mean, the 49ers, you could say John Lynch is all right, but you think of like Trey Lance. And then you think of Javon Kinlaw, he has some pretty blatant misses in the first round. So it's hard. Brad does have a case for number one, in my opinion, but I'm going to put Les Snead there for right now.
I don't know. At least on my end, I mean, he's 3 for 3 on drafts. I too, when I was thinking about it, there's just like, there's different ways to look at it. And especially like for Brad, value-wise, he's gotten a lot of guys. Like, yes, he has had a couple misses in the second round. Like, there's been a couple that you could question even last year's later in the draft. There's a couple guys, but value-wise, he's gotten a lot of guys even in late rounds. And in his first round picks, typically, like I know Penei probably fell in your right in your hands at Aiden Hutchinson, but it's just like no matter what in the first, you're getting a dude out of Brad Holmes, and then like he valued throughout the draft, you're going to get 2 or 3 or 4 guys who are going to make an impact on the football team. That's why I think you could argue it could be Brad and the Lions up there, especially in a 3-year span. If you broke down every draft class the last 3 years, I'm sure there's a pretty good argument that you could sit there and say Brad's probably been the best GM at drafting the last 3 seasons. Just because of that, and like first round draft picks and then value, it's a very good argument, I think, to throw him there. The top 3 is a lock, I think, but if you want to go number 1, there's an argument you can make.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. I don't know if I would crown him the best yet, but he's definitely in that top 3. I think last year's draft he really set the tone and kind of earned that respect. But like kind of Lukas said, I think these next 2 drafts will be like the cornerstone to making him like the best GM. If he hits these next 2 drafts and does so well in the first 2 rounds like he did this past draft, I think that kind of puts him above the rest, rather.
Yeah, I mean, Brad's specialty is those late round picks. Like, he is obviously great at all parts of the draft. You could argue besides the second round for whatever reason, until this past year, of course, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch. I get
double
that.
Up on it, made up for the last 2 drafts in one draft.
He did. But I do think, man, in the NFC, the 49ers, John Lynch is up there. Howie Roseman's up there.
Howie Roseman has done.
See, Howie, I was thinking about it, but especially late in the draft, I don't think he's like that. I think
not late in the draft. No,
Brad. That's why I think the value,
like free agency trades. I think that's where he gets it.
But I think
he's drafted well, but the value wise, I don't know. Yeah.
The Rams are up there just because they haven't. This is their first year having a first round pick in like 3 years. So they've been operating without even a first round pick, and they're building out a roster.
They already got a rebuild going.
Like, that's impressive. I mean, the Lions had 2 first round picks for 2 years, 8 years. ETN. Sorry, correct me there. Yeah, it's even actually more impressive.
That's wild.
8 freaking years.
That's crazy. Hey, at least you guys got a Super Bowl out of it.
And they got it, and
they haven't really had a down year. They like two seasons ago, but besides that, like, trade Jalen Ramsey, that's a great asset to have.
Yeah, and it's not just drafting; it's like acquisitions. So
Mhm.
and Les Snead is up there in acquisitions. Him, John Lynch,
He's for
Howie
sure.
Roseman are up there. I think Brad's going to get there. Brad's up there I think in the NFL, even in the AFC, I'll go Chiefs, of course, Brad Veach. I'll go Ravens also. Ravens
Yeah,
just
they're very
always have great
consistent.
drafts. Who's another team I'm
The
missing?
Bengals
you
are
say-
low key nice.
Did you say the Steelers?
Steelers are good.
Really,
Bengals,
all the AFC North teams, like
yeah.
Cleveland without a quarterback has been surrounded for years with talent. Like you look at a couple of their second, third round picks. I'm Jeremiah, whoever the linebacker safety hybrid they got out of Notre Dame. He was a second, third round pick because of injury, and he's a stud. You can go keep looking. Like they have really good drafts. The whole AFC.
I wanted him so bad, and he had that
Yeah.
heart condition, so he fell. He had that
I
heart.
wasn't even going to try to pronounce that name.
Yeah, it's like Owosu or something.
Komora or something like that. Yeah,
he's a beast too. Yeah, there's some good ones. I think even in the NFC North, the Packers have done a really good job over the last couple of years. I mean, they had a lot of their young players. I mean, the youngest roster in the NFL. They showed a lot of flash last year, but yeah, the Lions are up there. I mean, it's crazy to think. I mean, you kind of said it, Boone, that he hasn't really. You could probably count his misses, like true misses, on probably one hand.
There's a couple.
Yeah,
and I mean, too. I don't know if you can even count his misses like just yet. There's probably a couple, but like you saw with Ife Melifonwu this year, he out for about a year or so. Just
we can count Levi.
He came back. Well, Levi, but I'm just more so like a Colby Storsdale who's just developing, just sitting there, just kind of develop, and like in a year or two, he could be a guy. There's just guys to where it's like you can't really count his like some of these as misses just yet.
Antoine Green,
Broderick Martin, like there's just a couple guys. So.
Like that's all I was gonna say. Like Jamar Jefferson, like I don't count those as like.
Yeah, no, those are just that's just the NFL. Like that's the beast of the NFL. Like 6th, 7th round pick, you're pretty much doomed to be cut. The guys that make it, like shows enough, but you can't count those as misses. That's just they're not reaching because they obviously have film on the guys, but as far as them being NFL talent, it's not compared.
There's
to
guys that are still developing though, and like he has shown that he can bring guys in, and in a year or two they come out and they produce.
Well, hey, what about your guy Lucas?
Who's that?
Broderick.
I was just saying you better not. Hey,
Broderick Martin, 6'5", 330. Could I interest you?
I'm not right. I said it before. I'm not writing him off yet. But if he goes out there and again doesn't show anything, in my opinion, insert him right into the Levi Onwuzurike thing. He's on the fringe. He's on the fringe.
Bro, he just got done with his rookie year. Leave the man alone.
I understand that.
You were probably saying this about Iffy.
Well, no, Iffy showed me more than Broderick has in half a season already, and I understand it's because of his rookie year. But when you're to our point with Josh Reynolds and players like that, if you're a win now team that the defense is built around stopping the run, and they're like, look, we understand we took Broderick in the 3rd round, but here's a guy in the 2nd, a Braden Fisk, you name it, that I'm not saying in this draft, but in future drafts, are like, we know he's going to be good. Are we really going to risk that? Or can we just move on real quick and upgrade? And I think that's a real possibility. Adding a veteran. I just see him getting knocked down this depth chart as time goes on. Can I be wrong? Absolutely. But I'm not looking like Broderick Martin is going to be a contributing player in this team. Like, I don't see that yet. I just don't. I'm sorry. And there's nothing to say that I should be seeing that yet. I'm not writing him off, but I think there's brighter spots for better players to come on this roster.
He got done with his rookie year and didn't get a ton of snaps. Let that man develop. Let him get there. Year 2, year 3. Let him kind of get in there and get his feet wet. You just wait.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's just I don't expect a lot out of it. Could I be wrong? Yes. But I just don't see it.
I think Broderick still has some room to grow, and the fact that Brad traded up to get him, correct? Right? I'm not going crazy. Yeah. So I mean, the fact that kind of shows
Western Kentucky, baby.
Yeah, he traded up a little bit to get him. So I mean, hopefully he still has that confidence in him and believes that he can blossom into the player he had hoped. But I'm not writing off Broderick yet.
Yeah, no one should write Broderick Martin off. Let him just do it.
So early,
it's like you just being like, I'm writing Colby Storsdale off. Yeah, he's done. His career's over. Done with the Lions.
It doesn't. It's
some
not
people
that
write
their career's over, but
last season.
I'm writing them off. If that's what you're saying, for making a significant impact on this team, I just don't see him or Colby being one of those guys. I think they're going to sign players, draft better players than those guys, And I think there's more likely of a situation that Broderick never becomes a starter on this team than does become a starter on this team.
And Lucas, this isn't at you. This is just at anyone in general when it comes to draft and players. It's just people are so quick to just move on from guys when their rookie years. They don't, especially with Brad, to where he's had so many rookies hit instantly. It's just like there's gonna be Iffy Malfondo. I'm pretty sure it was like what year was this for him?
Year three.
And guess what? We're just like let's start this guy in year 3. And I get he did play a little like he showed you a little, but come on, fellas. We're not like sitting here like a 7-8 win team to where you draft guys and all your draft picks are going to get a chance. You're an NFC championship team that you're drafting guys and you're going to develop slowly and slowly and slowly. Like there's going to be a lot of guys you draft this year who probably aren't even going to touch the field until year 2.